My name is Catherine Ross. I am Director of Education in Smartforce Development. My first IMTS was just totally mind-blowing. I was one of those high school students who never had manufacturing even presented as an option, much less any other career technical education pathways. So when I went to IMTS 2008, it was like Dorothy walking into Oz.
Toto, I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
The world went from black and white and into color. It was just incredible. So as Director of Education on the Smartforce Development team, I manage the IMTS professional certification product that we offer here at AMT, and I also manage the Manufacturing Technology Sales Fundamentals Workshop, an excellent professional development tool for any sales engineer in our industry. And then on top of that, I do general advocacy for manufacturing as a optimal career pathway for young people and adults who are looking for a new direction. There have been a few students that I've had the pleasure of witnessing their success by choosing a manufacturing career program. Some have been veterans, so after they separate from military service, they struggle to translate all that experience into civilian jobs. So it's been really great to see veterans enroll in free programs to get those desirable skills and get on the pathway to well-paying, continuously growing jobs. Okay, I'm Catherine Ross, Director of Education for Smartforce Development at AMT. This is the IMTS Network. I'm Catherine Ross, Director of Education for Smartforce Development at AMT. Smartforce Development is AMT's initiative for building a globally competitive advanced manufacturing workforce. We do that by offering professional development programs such as CMTSE and the MT Sales Fundamentals Workshop, both of which are being converted to an e-learning format and will launch at IMTS 2020. More broadly, AMT Smartforce Development advocates for education and manufacturing career pathways. We are a supporter of Skills USA, who provide regional, state, and national level skills competitions for high school and community college students. We're also a stakeholder for NIMS, the National Institute for Metalworking Skills, who you may know for nationwide standards and credentials in machining, mechatronics, and most recently, CAM. In this sixth and final hour of the IMTS Network live stream event, we'll take a look at initiatives and programs across the country that encourage students to pursue STEM coursework to prepare for careers in manufacturing technology. As you know, IMTS is committed to supporting manufacturing technology leaders of the future. We do that through the Smartforce Student Summit, an inclusive event that gives students access to emerging technologies in an educational, fun, and engaging environment. In 2018, the Smartforce Student Summit hosted more than 24,000 students, educators, and parents who engaged with over 80 hands-on, interactive, unique exhibits, from designing 3D printed rockets to programming robotic animals. At IMTS 2020, the Smartforce Student Summit is on track to deliver even more high-quality exhibits and interactive content. Stay tuned to the IMTS Network for Student Summit updates over the next 11 months. One new component for the 2020 Smartforce Student Summit will be Project Manufacturing, or ProjectMFG, a national 5-axis machining and welding competition for technical students, sponsored by the Office of the United States Secretary of Defense, along with AMT and AMT members. More details on project manufacturing are coming up later in the hour, but coming up next, pack your bags. We're going to Hudson Valley Community College in Troy, New York, where they have been teaching about manufacturing technology for 65 years. But 5 years ago, they decided to double down. Focused solely on advanced manufacturing, Hudson Valley, with a generous contribution from the Gene Haas Foundation, just opened the Gene F. Haas Center for Manufacturing Skills, which has extensive labs, an impressive array of manufacturing devices, software, tooling, and space for local manufacturers to visit and network with students. AMT member Haas Automation in Oxnard, California provided several CNC machining centers to this ambitious project. After that, our friends from Discovery Channel have provided an episode of Manufacture Your Future. Since 2014, the Arconic Foundation and Discovery Education have partnered to provide 3rd through 12th grade educators, administrators, school counselors, and families with materials to cultivate the next generation of manufacturing leaders and innovators. To learn more about this project, visit manufactureyourfuture.com. But first, AMT member Allied Machine and Engineering in Dover, Ohio, cultivates a local skilled workforce by enhancing their education and training initiatives. From Project Lead the Way to internships, Allied is supporting STEM in the local community. Let's take a look at their programs.
Hi, I'm Monica Haley with IMTS Network. Today, we're at Hudson Valley Community College at the Center for Advanced Manufacturing Skills, also known as CAMS. Let's take a look.
Manufacturing is having your ideas become reality.
Manufacturing is a field of endless opportunities.
Manufacturing means a career that will keep on paying dividends until you retire. Right now we're in the Gene Haas Center for Advanced Manufacturing Skills. The idea of this project came along about 7 years ago in 2012, working with Allendale Machinery Systems, which is the Haas rep in this area. We built the facility because the amount of inquiries we had or demands on our students, we could not fulfill all the demands. What we have here today is basically a 37,000 square foot building. It's actually a wow building. When we designed the building, we designed it so it wouldn't be cramped, people wouldn't be on top of each other. It would look like a modern manufacturing facility. We have about 20 companies now. And once Haas Automation got involved, that kind of gave us legitimacy. Once the ball started rolling, everybody came in.
Always remember, other people are using the machine. Don't always trust that it wasn't unset.
The Gene Haas CAMS Center is transformational. I think for this college it sets us so far above anything else that's in the region. I just can't believe how awesome it is when I walk through. Employers, when I take them through the building, there's a real awe factor. They really are awestruck. They can't believe that this is on a community college campus. They look at the equipment that's been donated by other employers who partner with the college. They're looking at, how do we get involved? How do we partner in that area? So it's a kind of a leveraging effect by seeing that some of the equipment was donated to the college. Maybe I could take some of those people that are training on that equipment. So it's a good synergy.
One of the things we tried to do is we tried to anticipate what companies need. Our students have the skills that are in high demand, and they'll be in high demand for the next 2 decades. We place maybe 95 to 100% of our students prior to graduation. What we want the students to get out of this is that when they graduate, we want them to end up in a job that's a career, not just a job. We've had very successful students out of here, and one of the things we always tell people, how do we know we're doing a good job? Because the people our students go to, the companies, they come back for more of our students. If we weren't training them the way they wanted them trained, they would never come back.
HVCC
has the building block for our workforce. They train the individuals with the necessary tools and skills so that they can come into our facility and succeed. My name is Joel Lape. I'm the shop foreman at Package One Manufacturing. We actually employ over 25 graduates from Hudson Valley currently. Compensation comes in many forms. A paycheck is one of them, but having a sense of reward and accomplishment at the end of the day, I think, is that's a big part of wanting to be in manufacturing. In the morning, I can come in and grab a raw chunk of material, and at the end of the day, I've got a finished product. I can take the skills that I have with the machine tools that I run, and I can make a product that I can ship at the end of the day that's useful to somebody. And we have so many employees from Hudson Valley that share that same excitement about being productive and making something with their hands and their minds and the machines that they run.
My name is Peter Fisher. I enrolled in the manufacturing program here at Hudson Valley Community College because I am a local business owner that makes guitars and sells guitars and things like that. So I was interested in manufacturing my own hardware and learning that process, if possibly to make it myself, but also to control that manufacturing process if it's done outside of my shop. As I was looking through the course selection and the courses that are available, every single course, it was ringing a bell for me and saying, oh man, I'd really like to learn that, I'd really like to learn that. Applying it to this field itself, it's learning more about processes, learning how to think as a machinist is already becoming something valuable for me to take back to my shop and to say, look at different components within the guitar world and see how that applies to machining and how were those parts made, why is this failing, what can be done to fix that problem? Is it something that people are not doing for a cost reason, or is it because they don't know to fix that problem and that sort of thing?
My name is Truman Perry, and I'm here in the Advanced Manufacturing Technology program at Hudson Valley. I wanted to create better opportunity and job security for myself, and it seemed like the right place for it. My professors, actually, Dave Larkin, came to me and told me that the company Whittier was investing in this new Gene Haas facility, and they were looking for an intern to come out and that would have, knowledge on basic tooling and be able to help be a sales engineer for them. And my professor said it would be a good fit for me, so I went and I spoke with people at Whittier, and it seemed to work out good, so I went out there for an internship, and they gave me a contract that I signed that when I come back after I finish this year, I'll go on as a full-time employee with them.
Now we've seen all that CAMS offers students and the community. I'm Monica Haley with IMTS Network. See you next time.
I'm Greg Jones. I'm Vice President of Smartforce Development for AMT. I've been in the manufacturing industry for most of my career, and manufacturing is really in my DNA. The year that I was born, my father was an apprentice tool and die maker. So I grew up around manufacturing at the dinner table. My father retired from General Motors. He worked at a Fisher body plant in Ohio. And it's really a privilege for me to continue on that legacy that I got from my father and work within the manufacturing industry. I think I've got one of the most fun jobs at AMT. I'm privileged to be the curator of the Student Summit. We get to decide what kind of content the students get to engage with. But more than anything, it's really a privilege to be able to impact students in their career decisions, and that's what gets me up and going to work every day. I really love my job at AMT because I feel like I can really make a difference in young people's lives. September at IMTS in Chicago is just a great time of the year to hold the show. I'm there for the week of setup in advance of the show. And I'm a bicyclist, so I like to rent a divvy bike and take that from my hotel downtown, ride it along the lake shore, drop it right off at McCormick Place, and that keeps me in shape for all the walking that I've got to do once I'm at IMTS for the show. I'm Greg Jones. I'm Vice President of Smartforce Development for AMT. We look forward to seeing you at the Smartforce Student Summit at IMTS 2020.
How can we ignite enthusiasm in students to pursue educational programs and careers in manufacturing technology? Introducing ProjectMFG. Project MFG is a series of competitions for post-secondary students that will eventually reach across the country and is designed to show off the advanced skills needed in manufacturing technology education and careers. Project MFG tests students' manufacturing technology skills and business acumen as teams complete tasks during a timed event. A 50-50 public-private partnership among the Department of Defense, Office of the Secretary of Defense, Industrial Base Analysis and Sustainability, AMT, the Association for Manufacturing Technology, and other industry stakeholders, Project MFG aims to help close the technical skills gap by promoting positive perceptions about advanced manufacturing education and careers, accelerating new entrants into the workforce, and aligning industry and defense requirements while elevating educational programs. The skills gap is a well-documented issue facing U.S. manufacturing companies across all industries, from auto, aerospace, and defense to computer science, IT, retail, and hospitality. With transformative smart manufacturing technologies taking hold, the breadth of the skills gap is expected to grow even larger. The national conversation around STEM education has encouraged investments in career and technical education, dual credit programs, and apprenticeships, as well as workforce development and 2-year programs that lead to industry-recognized certificates and degrees. More needs to be done rapidly in order to get the U.S. to actual full employment. In 2017, a presidential executive order was signed to address U.S. defense machining and manufacturing capability and sustainability. Project MFG Next Generation Manufacturing Challenge was conceived. With only a few months of runway and planning, a proof-of-concept round of competitions codenamed Project MFG launched in April of 2019, with teams of students competing in an industry-developed 5-axis CNC plus welding competition, ranging from design, programming and business planning, to quality assurance and cost effectiveness. The speed at which Project MFG was developed is indicative of what's possible when federal policy unites with business and industry leaders to accomplish a goal. It's clear that while industry needs machinists who have the ability to manufacture multi-axis parts, school curriculum was not aligned to provide credentialed, competent individuals to meet the industry needs. Were schools intimidated by a 5-axis machining competition? You bet! But not all were. We quickly saw teachers, professors, administrators, and students begin to rise to the challenge, especially among schools who compete in the Skills USA National Championships for CNC milling and turning. The Project MFG competitions kicked off with a part design that resembles a DNA strand, because manufacturing is in our DNA as a nation and always has been. The next rounds of the Project MFG competitions will be held throughout this fall and spring, leading up to a national competition at the Smartforce Student Summit at IMTS 2020. Watch these moments at ProjectMFG.com as they become a movement to inspire students to pursue a manufacturing career, close the skills gap, and keep the U.S. a world leader in manufacturing. The Project MFG Next Generation Manufacturing Challenge launched successfully as a result of a 50-50 partnership between the DoD, federal policy leaders, and key stakeholders in the manufacturing technology industry. Project MFG is made possible through the generous support of dedicated teams and individuals who are passionate about solving the skills gap and elevating career and technical education programs across the U.S. Project MFG competition partners include the Department of Defense, the Gene Haas Foundation, Haas Automation, and the Lincoln Electric Company. Project MFG technology partners include Mastercam, Hoffman Group, Big Kaiser, Blaser Swiss Lube, Haas Factory Outlet Trident, Haas Factory Outlet Philips, Hexagon Manufacturing Intelligence, Juergens Inc., Jorgensen Conveyors, Philips Federal, and TCI Precision. Technical standard development partners include NIMS, the National Institute for Metalworking Skills, Autodesk, Boeing, DMG Morisiki US, Fanuc America, and Sandvik Coromant. Our education and industry partners include AMT, the Association for Manufacturing Technology, IMTS, the International Manufacturing Technology Show, Skills USA, and the SME Education Foundation.
With the manufacturing skills gap in the U.S. growing, private companies are taking the initiative to rejuvenate the workforce. Allied Machine in Dover, Ohio is cultivating a locally skilled workforce through internship programs and a community initiative called Project Lead the Way.
The intern program came about out of frustration. What happened one day is I actually got a phone call from our HR department. They notified me that a candidate that we tried to recruit from another area turned us down. You know, I'm sitting there wondering what do I do next, and I don't want to call this miraculous, but there was actually a pamphlet on my desk that was talking about this program called Project Lead the Way. So I started looking at this and really just absorbed it. The thing that connected for me is if I can't get people to relocate to Dover, New Philadelphia, how could I grow my own talent? How could we invest in our community? These kids know our culture. They grew up here. What they didn't know is that there were actually opportunities in our community. I said, what if I talked to the schools and said, hey, would you guys be interested in this? Would you partner with us? How could we do this? And out of that birthed Project Lead the Way in Tuscarawas County.
Project Lead the Way has several different strands. We teach the engineering strand, so we have Introduction to Engineering, then we have Principles of Engineering, Digital Electronics, and then SIM. And they'll go through those 4 years. When we first started Project Lead the Way, one of the concerns was, we have a lot of bright kids at New Philadelphia, and nothing against being doctors and nurses and lawyers, but that was kind of the trend, because they had no idea what an engineer did. Since we started offering Project Lead the Way, I would say our number of students going to engineering has probably increased tenfold.
Having this kind of experience before even getting out of high school is something you can't really get in a classroom.
It's not just sitting in an office on a computer, it's a lot of hands-on. I've also learned that it's very important to work with people to get stuff done.
We've watched kids go from being afraid to fail to embracing failure and saying, here's what I'm going to do different next time.
One of the biggest things that it has taught me is it's never going to be always perfect every single time. So it's just taught me to keep trying and how to troubleshoot.
So then what we've seen kids do is say, I'm not afraid to go into engineering. I'm not afraid to take that calculus class or that physics class and struggle through it because I know ultimately it's going to be worth it. Some things that I would say about what's been a miracle, just to give people a perspective across the country to say, well, you don't understand, we couldn't do it here. Tuscarawas County has 100,000 people, but what I would tell you, in 11 years, we've raised over $1.9 million for this program in Tuscarawas County. What we did is we said, would you be willing to invest now for 5, 10 years from now, whenever you want to grow your business, and you have to decide, where am I going to grow it? Am I going to grow it in Tuscarawas County, or do I need to move someplace else because I don't have the talent? We do a community showcase where we bring all the kids from Tuscarawas County and we have them present their projects.
At the end of the year, they have to reverse engineer a project, and they have to kind of modify it and make it better.
When we were working on our showcase project, we just couldn't get it to work, but we just kept going at it. I remember the moment we finally got it to work and it was moving. It was so happy.
And to watch them that light bulb come on when they come up with a great idea, they go through the whole process, and then we'll usually try to print it on a 3D printer, which leads us to a big contest.
There's over 300 projects that get presented to the community. Parents, grandparents, Chamber of Commerce members come watch these kids present, and I tell them, come interview your next associate. Come find them at this community showcase. So the partnership that's there is really being done in a place that it should never be successful. If we can do it in Tuscarawas County, it can be done anywhere in the USA.
Hey, I have a question for you. How can the same metal in soda cans that we crush and put in a recycling bin be strong enough to use in planes and cars and still protect us human creatures in the process?
Has to be thicker aluminum, maybe?
Well, not exactly. As it turns out, not all aluminum is created the same. That's where alloys come into play. When you combine two or more different metals, or mix metals with non-metals, the resulting material is called an alloy.
Certain recipes or combinations give alloys unique characteristics like enhanced corrosion resistance, mechanical strength, flexibility, electrical conductivity. The list goes on and on.
Here at Arconic, they melt aluminum in seriously hot furnaces. We're talking volcano lava hot.
Whoa!
Then they add in a variety of materials: magnesium, silicon, copper, manganese, whatever is needed to create the specific attributes their customers need in the finished product.
Arconic applies a variety of heating and cooling steps as their aluminum is rolled into finished coils that can measure more than 2.5 miles in length, weighing as much as 38,000 pounds.
These coils will ultimately be used around the world to make a host of industrial products, as well as cars, trucks, passenger planes, even jet fighters.
Bet you didn't know strong, lightweight aluminum has been a part of aviation from the beginning. The Wright brothers used an aluminum alloy to build the first airplane engine in 1903.
Let's take a closer look at how these alloys are tested at Arconic's Tennessee operations.
My name is Laurel Black. I work at Tennessee Operations Arconic, and my role is Quality Lab Coordinator. I ensure that the quality is preserved through the process and that we are getting the customer exactly what is safe and up to industry and customer specs. First, we would test the chemistry, and that would be using the spectrometry machines. You would take a small puck that would be representative of the ingot, and you would check the chemistry of that to make sure it is what we're aiming for and what the customer wants. This is a sample from an ingot that we have. This is from a scissor sample mold, so that's why it looks this way. We use it to measure the chemistry of the ingot as it's casting, also before it's casting, just to make sure it's the correct chemistry that we're looking for. The bin tester is helpful for testing the ductility of the metal that we're looking for. We ensure that the hot rolling or the cold rolling processes are correct. Sometimes the aluminum will be formed into different shapes. You don't want it to crack. Like cans, a car door, you want it to hold its shape, be just as strong. For this process, we will be bending a sample and checking it out underneath the microscope and grading it. There's pass and fail, and so we do that with all of the metal that requires it to make sure that it's safe. This is the milling machine we use. We will take samples that have been cut from the shear, and then we will turn them into the dog bones that we are looking for to rip apart on the tensile tester. The final step is where we would measure it on the tensile tester to get the mechanical properties we're looking for. Basically, that is just how strong it is before it breaks. Because it's a destructive test, you're pulling apart the metal, and at its breaking point, it will tell you the yield strength, ultimate tensile strength, elongation. The tensile tester is automated, which is amazing. The more computers and less input you have via operator takes away variability and also removes human error from the process. Initially, I was good at math and science, so I wanted to go into engineering. I went to Missouri Science and Technology for school, and they had an intro session for a lot of different types of engineering. I was introduced to metallurgical engineering via a lab, and it was a lot of fun, a lot of hands-on, and I clicked. It's good to find different clubs that you wouldn't normally think to try out, because you'll meet new people. You'll see if you like something that's out of your comfort zone. It's always just good just to try new things. I enjoyed the department, got involved with school clubs that were related to casting as much as possible, got into hands-on student research work, and then I just kept going with it and graduated and looked for a job in metallurgy. So I like making money.
Sweet! I like how there's automation even in the testing phase.
And she gets to see if everything's working or not all along the way.
Absolutely. Now, I'm more of a big picture guy myself, so I'll freely admit I need to develop better attention to detail.
Fair enough. And I know I need to find subjects I'm passionate about. Maybe they'll lead me to a career one day too.
Looks like we both have a lot of things we want to work on.
Absolutely. And that's a good thing. Definitely beats just going with the flow.
At the very least, our avatars look a little better outfitted for the future than when we started.
We want to say thank you to the entire team at Arconic for making this virtual field trip possible. We're so glad to have had the chance to be your guide through their advanced manufacturing operations in Tennessee.
And we especially want to send some gratitude to Shaquana Moore, Boubacar Maika, and Laurel Black for guiding us through the awesome things they do.
And for giving us an overview of their unique career paths.
Remember, it's not a bad idea to start thinking now about what you want to do for a career.
Develop a plan and set it in motion. These can be small things, like taking that extra science elective, joining the robotics team, or working as an intern in a field that interests you over the summer.
Take some time to do a self-inventory. Ask yourself what you really like doing and what you don't, what you're good at and what you're not so good at. An honest inventory can be a great jumping off place to start designing the future self you want to be.
Even if you feel you're not exactly awesome yet at what you might like to do for a career, you can always develop and master new skills if you work at it.
Just activate a growth mindset and keep moving forward.
There are so many great tools to check out at manufactureyourfuture.com, like a career guide for exploring the impressive array of jobs and careers in advanced manufacturing.
And surveys that will help you match your interests with different manufacturing careers. There's even a handy breakdown of the kinds of training each career path typically requires.
Need a little more background first? The self-paced module is your friend.
You can find out how technologies like robotics and automation are deployed throughout advanced manufacturing to solve complex problems and improve people's lives.
So be sure to visit manufactureyourfuture.com to access these and other great resources.
Thanks for taking this journey with us through the world of advanced manufacturing.
All of us at Arconic Foundation and Discovery Education wish you luck and success as you begin to manufacture your future self. So long, everyone.
Welcome back to the IMTS Network. I'm Peter Illman.
And I'm still Jules McGuire.
Again?
Again.
Believe it or not, we are completing day one of our live stream event, our first real IMTS Network project.
Right. Today we saw some great stories about manufacturing technology and the intersection of humanity with those stories. And we're so excited to bring you more very soon. So Peter, sorry about that. I just had a moment to think. What was your favorite? What was your favorite moment of today?
I think my favorite moment wasn't a moment. My favorite was all day and throughout this project, as we're starting to build the concept of the IMTS network, we're starting to involve more and more people. When we had our first conversations, we talked about building something that has a human side, and you really saw the human side today. We had a lot of folks from AMT from all of our different departments. We had a lot of our members featured. We had IMTS exhibitors, IMTS visitors. manufacturers, students. That's the highlight for me. We wanted to bring people into our equation here today, and for our experimental day, our test day, we had some ups, we had some downs, but we certainly had a lot of human involvement, and that's really what I think we want to build as the IMTS network comes on the air.
Absolutely. I think it went really well. And I would say my favorite part of today was the East episode. I really enjoyed watching the students as they were showing like all of the technology that they're using, that our member company uses, that IMTS exhibitors and visitors use, and they're using it in really creative ways. And so that was really awesome. The East Initiative stands for Environmental and Spatial Technologies. So they use things like microcontrollers, sensors, they use 3D printing, they use a lot of the same stuff that we do. And we have a whole season of that coming in 2020. So that was just the first episode, and there's some really good stuff that we're working to bring you guys.
It was fun to put this together, but we are really recognizing that while today was kind of our proof of concept and our experiment and that, this is not just a proof of concept, it's the beginning. And as we begin to start working on IMTS Network, we are probably just within several months, you'll be seeing announcements of the beginning of the everyday version of the IMTS Network. As we said, something along the model of Netflix. We'll be having a lot of what you saw today, a lot of new episodes. We'll have some live broadcasting. And it'll all culminate throughout the year as once again we return to Chicago next September and do IMTS TV. Throughout the year we'll have programming that touches Chicago. We'll have some of our favorite restaurant reviews. I know we've had several of our staff members who appeared on camera today volunteer to help us with our Around Chicago Let's Find a Great New Restaurant series. So we'll look forward to that. And also just the IMTS network itself as an outlet for our industry and everyone that's involved in our industry, from specialty networks to broad-based relationships that we have with our partners. It's a very exciting time to birth something like the network. And Jules, you're going to be in charge of all
I know. I was about to say I'm hearing this laundry list, and I need to go because I have some work to do, and our team has some work to do. So we should probably wrap it up.
Before we get started there, I would like to thank our team. Jules drove everybody to get this done. Peter said, we have to try a test day to see if this works. And our staff put it together, a lot of effort, a lot of extra hours, a lot of time. But what we've ended up with is we've got our beginnings. This is what we needed to do. We'd like to thank our crews, some of them visiting from Buffalo, New York to help us out, and everyone from AMT and all of our contributors who gave us their time, gave us their stories. And as we have been saying all day long, we want your story too. So we look forward to hearing from you. We'll be at your site at a moment's notice to get your story told on the IMTS network.
Excellent. Well, this has been such a fun day. And I'm Jules McGuire.
I'm Peter Eelman. We're going to bid you farewell, but we'll be seeing a lot more of you in the next several months. Look forward to seeing you on the IMTS network.